During an investigation on the Titanic shipwreck, researchers noticed something strange. At the bottom of the sea, the next part of the ship was in good condition, while the last part was in very bad condition, and that too was 2,000 feet away. No doubt, for 100 years, iron and steel rot at the bottom of the sea. But if these two were part of the same ship and sank at the same time, then why was there such a big difference in the next and last part? Researchers believe that on the night of the accident, besides colliding with the iceberg, something else happened with the Titanic, which caused more damage to its back. But the question is, what is this? Welcome back to Recap English's videos. Viewers, in 1912, the night the Titanic had an accident. At that time, she was alone in the middle of the ocean, 700 kilometers away from Newfoundland, Canada. She was alone in the middle of the ocean. At the time of the incident, there were a total of 2,240 people on board, of which 1,500 people lost their lives. Those who were called unsinkable, they were seen in front of the power of nature as soon as they saw the Black Sea. The eyewitnesses of this incident were only those who somehow got out of the ship and jumped into the cold water of the Atlantic Ocean. And no one knows about the Titanic accident. During the investigation, no one knew what happened to the ship, but then the survivors said that the ship had a crash with an iceberg. These statements were confirmed by looking at the iceberg present on the site, on which the red paint of the Titanic was still applied. After the incident, eyewitnesses and evidence were shown in the investigation report that on the right side of the Titanic, the iceberg had left a 300-foot hole. That is, 1/3 of the entire side of the Titanic was torn. But on the other hand, eyewitnesses said that it took about 2.5 hours for the ship to sink. Investigators believe that if the iceberg really left a 300-foot hole on the Titanic, it would sink in less than 2.5 hours, but in a few minutes. But no one could find out what the truth was at that time. To find out the truth, it was necessary to find the Titanic ship. The search for the Titanic continued for many years, and every passing year, this mystery became more and more serious. Finally, after 73 years, when the Titanic was found, it was a big breakthrough for the marine industry. It was time to find the answers to all the questions that the Titanic had left behind. In the 4,000 meters deep Atlantic Ocean, the Titanic's wreck had been present in the dark for decades. Many expeditions were arranged that captured countless photos of the shipwreck. Oceanic explorer P.H. Narshile 30 times, but he has never seen a 300-foot wide hole. Albeit, in this profile photo of Titanic, this 30-foot area shows that something had come here. Its area is only 11 square feet, and according to calculations, 370 gallons of water could have accumulated in Titanic in every second. But this was not the only mystery. There was still a lot more to know. During the investigation on the Titanic shipwreck, the researchers were not able to understand how the next part of the ship, which is called the bow, is in a better condition than its previous part, i.e. the stern. And why is there so much distance between the two? To solve this mystery, high-tech sonar scanning technology was used. ROVs captured millions of photos of the Titanic shipwreck site and then converted them into a 3D model with the help of computer graphics. This model also contained all the details that no ordinary camera or human eye can normally see at this depth. In the model, it can be seen that all the decks of the 392 feet long stern are inserted into each other as if it is not a steel ship, but a paper ship. Different parts are separated from the ship and scattered around. There are only 2 big engines of the size of a house attached to it. There is another important clue hidden in this model, the clue that tells us about the condition of the stern. 110 years ago, when the stern collided with the ocean floor, its marks are still visible here, which can only be seen through a 3D model. It is obvious from these signs that when Stern hit the ocean floor, he was spinning anti-clockwise. Scientists can infer from these signs that Stern was going inside the water at a shocking speed of 80 kilometers per hour, when the last part of the ship was going so fast in the depth of the water. The forces generated by the water lifted the loose parts of the ship, and when it hit the ocean floor 4 kilometers below, all its decks got stuck inside each other. On the other hand, as you can see, the bow section, the front section, is hydrodynamic. That is, it can cut water easily, just like a ship cuts water while floating on water and makes its way. This is the reason why the bow section was neither rotating nor the forces of water were directly attacking it. Finally, another mystery of the incident that happened 110 years ago has been solved. But there is one more question that is very important to find the answer to. That is, when did the Titanic ship split into two parts? As you know, the news of the ship breaking into two parts was given by the eyewitness. It has been believed for years that the Titanic was divided into two parts before it sank. But who created it? This news is true to a large extent, but it is not entirely true. When the bow section was filled with water, it went into the water, which caused the entire weight of the stern section to fall on the pivot point, UE, the center. This center point could not bear so much weight and broke and was divided into two parts. But the 3D model, made with sonar scanning, is telling a different story. Yes, if you look at it, the equipment inside the Titanic is scattered far and wide on the ocean floor. It also has coffee cups, dinner plates, chandeliers, deck benches, and personal belongings of people. 90% of these items are from the stern section. A total 10,000 items are scattered in this entire area, which is about 3.2 square kilometers. If this section was separated from the bow section above the water, it would mean that as it reached the ocean floor, its mass would not be 3.2 square kilometers, but would spread to a larger area than this, as you can see in this animation as well. So, experts believe that this section broke above the water, but it happened near the ocean floor, which is different from many sections. And then while rotating, it changed its direction and fell 2,000 feet away. Today, the body of the RMS Titanic has been completely rusted. Scientists believe that oxygen is very low in this depth of the ocean, which causes the rusting process to be very slow, or purr. Hope you guys will like and share this Recap English's video as well. So much for your lovely comments. See you in the next video.